Peace and blessings everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Albert, and in this episode I have the Peugeot 308. Now, a short history about the Peugeot 308. This model came into production in 2007 when it replaced the 307. And well, it looked better, it was better designed with a new interior, new features, and well, a cleaner look. Now, this one that I have here is the second generation of the 308. And to be precise, this is the T9 model, which came out in 2013. And as you can see, it looks quite modern and well, better than its previous version. And in this episode, I'm going to talk about a couple of things that I do like about this Peugeot, a couple of things that I don't like about this Peugeot, and by the end of the video, we will realize together if this is a good option to buy or, well, head for the competition. And I do have to tell you that this car was brought to me by my friends at Carzet. Now, Carzet are a specialized second-hand car dealership located in Ipswich. All the cars have 6 months RAC warranty, which is extendable up to 3 years. If you want your car to be part exchange, they can help you with that. If you have a low credit score and you need finance, Carzet can help you with finance as well. And if you want your car to be delivered all the way across UK, well, Carzet can help you with that as well. So check them out at carzet.co.uk. The front end of the car stands out with the Peugeot logo, which is placed right here in this chromed grille with this chrome lines and well, with the chromed surrounding of the big air intake that this car has right over here. Now, the headlights, I have to tell you, that are modern and angular, and well, they are very sharp. And yes, these are the Peugeot full LED lights, because they have LED daytime running lights, but also the main beam and the high beam are also LED. Now, down here we have the turn signals because they have been separated from the headlights, and right here we have the fog light. Now, what I like about the front end of the car is that it has this chrome finish that it's surrounding the whole front end, which gives the car a very luxurious and elegant feel. In the bumper, we have the parking sensors, and I have to tell you that the front end of the car is quite aggressive, and with the lights turned on, I have to tell you that it has a fierce appearance on the road. Now, the hood is very well sculpted. It has these beautiful lines drawn that gives the car a very aerodynamic feel. Right here on the hood, we have the iconic Peugeot logo, the mighty and fierce lion. And well, I have to tell you that I'm quite surprised by these Peugeots today. They look quite good, and I don't know, they are a little bit different from the competition. It's time to talk about the engine on this car, and we have to open it to see it because, well, it has a very interesting way to open it. It has a latch over here that if you're not used to opening this way, it will give you a little bit of headaches. Now, this car has a 1.2 3-cylinder petrol engine, which develops 130 horsepower, 230 Newton meters, and goes from 0 to 60 in around 9.8 seconds. And well, all of this thanks to its 6-speed automatic gearbox. What's impressive about this engine is the fuel consumption and the fact that it's very quiet. But the fuel consumption, this car manages to do way above 55 miles per gallon on motorways and around 38 to 40 miles per gallon around town, which I have to tell you that I'm quite impressed by it. Now, you pay lower taxes, you pay low insurance, and with a low fuel consumption, this has to be a very good car to own. Now, from the side of the car, we can actually notice the beautiful sculpted lines that emphasizes the design of the car. This car has 17-inch 5-spoke wheels, which they look quite nice in this two-tone color. The mirrors have the LED turn signals integrated into them. They're seamlessly integrated between the black part and the white part, giving the car a very modern and very pleasant aesthetic appeal. Now, what I like about this car is the fact that it has all the chrome elements neatly displayed and showcases a very luxurious feel. From this side, you can notice the subtle lines that go from the front end all the way back to the rear end. And right here, you can notice that on the rear panel, the rear lights have been integrated. And I have to tell you that they look quite good. So overall, the side of the car is as stylish as the front end and complements the aerodynamic of the car. The rear end presents a sleek and contemporary design. It features stylish taillights that seamlessly blend into the vehicle's body, creating a cohesive and sophisticated look. The rear bumper is very well integrated, and the overall shape of the car emphasizes a sense of dynamism and aerodynamics efficiency. Now, in the rear bumper, we have the parking sensors, which they've been integrated into the rear diffuser down there. Right here we have the Peugeot logo, also in this chrome finish, and the 308 badge over there. And also right here we have a badge that signifies the engine of the car, because this car has a 1.2 PureTech engine, and well, it had to be written somewhere. Right here we have, well, a very subtle rear spoiler. I have to tell you that it's very subtle because it's not big, it's not small, it just is. So yes, here we have a very tiny roof spoiler, and underneath here we have the stop lights, which they have this white finish, but of course it lights up green. It lights up red. So overall, the rear end of the car is classy, sophisticated, and well, I have to tell you that goes very well with the rest of the car. Now let's check out the cargo space of the 308. And here we have a little bit of a surprise, because this car has 470 liters of cargo space without dropping the back seats. If you drop the back seats, you get 1,300 liters. But what's impressive is that the Peugeot has the biggest boot in the compact car segment. It's bigger than the Golf, it's bigger than the Focus, and definitely it's bigger than the Vauxhall Astra, which I have to tell you that it's quite impressive. So if you need a car that has a very big luggage space, well, I think you found it. Inside the 308. Now I have to tell you that the interior is very spacious. You have plenty of legroom, plenty of headroom, and it feels quite spacious due to the design that this car has. The interior of the 308 stands out with a very futuristic design, high quality materials, and something that I do like is the dashboard. Now the dashboard seems like it's been made out of Legos, and what do I mean by this? Well, you have to see it to understand me, because somehow it feels separated. It feels like there are multiple dashboards placed on one on top of each other, which is quite neat and quite futuristic. Now I have to tell you that the dashboard, it's tilted a little bit towards the driver, but what's interesting about it is that this part over here, it's not tilted, but just the infotainment screen, it's a little bit tilted towards the driver. The quality of the materials is good. The seats are kind of sporty. They are very soft and pleasant to be in. Now the seats aren't electrically powered, they are manual, and they have a couple of latches over here and some wheels that you can spin and turn, but this doesn't bother me. The materials that the seats have on them, they feel nice when you touch them, and it's kind of like a two-tone material, a little bit abrasive here and lean and smooth here. And as you can see, the seats look actually quite good. The steering wheel, it's something that I like in Peugeots. They are quite smallish compared to the other cars, but I have to tell you that they give you a very nice sensation behind the steering wheel, because it feels like a go-kart. It doesn't go like a go-kart, but actually with the steering wheel, it kind of does. The gear shifter looks very nice. The parking brake, well, this one doesn't have a normal parking brake. One thing that I don't like the armrest. And why? The way that this armrest actually can be adjusted, it's a little bit annoying. And why? because I happened to catch my fingers a couple of times when I was trying to adjust it, due to the fact that I'm a little bit, yeah, well, you see, it doesn't work for me. It's annoying, period. Yeah, let's get back to the rest of the car. Right here we have the dome lights, and I do like the fact that you have here a little screen that shows you which one of the passengers doesn't have the seatbelt on. So on the door side we have this beautiful aluminium finish. Also the car is surrounded by aluminium finishes, and well, I have to tell you that it's a nice place to be in. Let's talk about the infotainment system of this car. One thing that I don't like in specific is the fact that this car doesn't have any normal climate controls whatsoever. So in the dashboard you don't have any kind of controls for the temperature in this car. The only way you can control temperature and where you can control the heating system of this car is from the infotainment system. And as you can see, you have this option right over here. Now I have to tell you that this is very modern, but somehow for the dinosaur in me it's very hard to comprehend. But nevertheless, you can see that this car has dual climate controls and you can adjust them very easily from here. Now, the infotainment system of this car is very intuitive and easy to use. I have to tell you that it's quite simple, and you have a couple of things that you can actually adjust in this car, like mood lighting, guide me home lighting, welcome lights, driver flip action. Now, this thing, I don't know exactly what it does, but apparently it's kind of an alarm on this car. Driving assistant, here you can see that these are the things that you can adjust from the driving assistant. This car is quite simple and basic, but due to the fact that you can add a lot of options on it, it can be a very, very good car. Into the lighting section, exactly this thing, probably it's from when you lock and unlock the car to see the lights. And vehicle access, well, this car doesn't have keyless entry or keyless go, and this is a feature for those cars specific. Now, this car also doesn't have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, but I think that you can add these. I'm not sure, but you have this Peugeot Connect apps where you can connect to the Peugeot and you can put some things here, I think. I'm not quite sure. So into the settings, you have the color schemes, which these are the themes that this car has. The audio settings, I have to tell you that the sound system in this car is quite good. It's not the high-end sound system, but well, it does its purpose. The navigation is quite modern, and as you can see, it looks a little bit kind of like Google Maps. Well, I say kind of because, well, they're a little bit similar. Google Maps looks a little bit better, but nevertheless, the sat-nav on this car looks quite good and modern. Now let's go a little bit into the settings. We have the audio, we have the color, and the turn off screen. Now we have a calculator, we have time and date, and we have the system settings, where you can actually adjust here a couple of things, like the miles if you want to have MPGs to see your fuel consumption, or kilometers. We can delete data, but we don't want to do that. From screen settings, you can adjust the brightness and the automatics and a couple of active text scrolling, which is quite nice. In the language compartment, as you can see, we have a couple of languages that you can choose, and this car is very, very intelligent and provides you a couple of languages for you to have. The radio, it's DAB radio, and well, you do have a couple of options here, like radio list photos again, which is quite an interesting thing in these cars nowadays. Why would you like to put pictures in your car? I have no idea why. So back here, as you can see, this car did on the past 6,214 miles, an average of 45.5 miles per gallon, which is quite impressive, and it's quite economical. So overall, the infotainment of this car is quite simple, easy to use, and I have to tell you that it's very modern. In the dashboard area over here, you can notice that a couple of buttons are missing, and yes, the climate controls aren't here. As I previously mentioned, they're into the infotainment system. They have been integrated there. Right here we have the door lock and unlock. Right here we have the windscreen defroster, and right here we have the rear windscreen defroster as well. And here is the button when you can recirculate the air from the car, which, well, I have to tell you that it's quite interesting, but not quite, because I do like to have the climate controls right here. I'm used to that. I'm coming from that era where we had the buttons right here. Well, to be honest with you, I like the volume control here, and this aluminium finish over here gives the car a modern feel. Down here we have a power socket, a USB plug, and a jack plug, and well, they are hidden underneath here, the dashboard area. Here we have the gearbox, and it has quite an interesting pattern over here. As you can see, when you put the car in drive, it goes kind of like a dance. I do like the fact that it has this piano black plastic over here that gives the car a very stylish look, as well as this chrome element, chrome finish that it's surrounding this center console over here. I have to tell you that it's quite elegant, quite stylish, and it's very pleasant to touch. Under this latch we have the cup holder, and what's interesting about it is the fact that you can make it go away like this. And here now you have a lot of storage compartment, but to be honest with you, most of the times I think a lot of us are gonna use the cup holder. Now it's time to talk about the gauge cluster, because I find it quite interesting. And why? Well, it's quite simple. Just have a look at the rev counter. Well, it's not like our usual rev counter. This thing looks like the Aston Martin rev counter because it's the other way around. And I have to tell you that this was the first thing that I noticed when I entered this car. But this gauge cluster is a little bit dated due to the fact that in the screen, well, this screen that you see in the middle of the gauges, well, it's not very customizable. In fact, the only things that you can see in this one are the speedometer and the miles that this car had done, or the miles that you're gonna do with this car. And I have to tell you that it's not what I expected, but nevertheless I do like the contemporary look. I like the fact that it has this aluminium finish surrounding the gauges, but other than that, well, I have to tell you that I'm a little bit disappointed by the gauge cluster that this Peugeot has. The back seats of the 308. Well, as you can see, it's quite spacious in here, and the materials are, well, exactly as in the front seats. Now, back here, well, I have to tell you that it's a little bit dull. You do have two small cup holders hidden in this armrest. Now, I have to tell you that these are very small, and I don't think they can hold up a bottle. They probably can hold up some cans of juice, but not bottles or nothing tall to be placed here. Back here, we don't have anything with just a storage compartment. The back seat is quite good. You do have plenty of room for the legs, you have plenty of headroom, and I have to tell you that this car can accommodate 5 people easily. It feels more spacious than it actually is. So overall, in the rear seats, there's not really much to do. You have some storage compartment into the doors, but well, I have to tell you that it's more pleasant to be in the front seats than in the rear seats. You do have this isofix here for the kids' chair, which is quite nice. But other than that, well, I have to tell you that it's, well, pretty standard in here. So now it's time to put on the seatbelt and, well, drive the 308. We're gonna put this car into drive and we're gonna unleash the parking brake, and after that we're gonna go. Exactly the first feeling, the steering wheel is pretty darn funny because it feels exactly like my PlayStation steering wheel. And I think I've been talking about this in the previous videos where I drive different Peugeots, but I think the steering wheel is becoming smaller and smaller each time. Yeah. So let's talk about the comfort of the car. The car is very comfortable. It has the perfect amount of sportiness and stiffness in the suspension that it provides a comfortable ride. The engine, due to the fact that it's a 1.2, it's not that fast, but it has 130 horsepower, so it seems enough at the first glance. Well, of course it's enough. It's a small car, but I'm a little bit too pretentious and I like bigger engines. But the car is quite agile once you push it a little bit. Now, it has a little bit of body roll because, well, it's not a sports car, but it's not bad. Yeah, well, lucky for me, I turned off the automatic stop function because it annoys the hell out of me. So in general, the car is very practical, very good, and it's quiet on the inside, which means that Peugeot did a very good job in isolating this car. The seats are comfortable and they provide the necessary and decent lumbar support that you need. The overall aspect of the car is pleasant. I mentioned a little bit earlier the fact that I don't really like the climate controls being placed into the infotainment system and not having them where we need them at the touch of a button. But well, if you are a person that likes technology, this thing is not gonna bother you. Overall, the car is very economical. It's not expensive to maintain. It's not expensive to buy. If you change the engine oil and if you change the gearbox oil and if you do all the services that, well, this car needs, you won't have any problem. Actually, the car behaves very, very well, and it's nimble, even though the 1.2, as I mentioned, is a little bit, well, underpowered, but once it gets going, yeah, it gets going. So overall, I'm pretty happy with it. The fuel consumption is very, very good. You have low taxes, low insurance. And I have to tell you that Peugeot became better and better over the years. The cars are more reliable, are more pleasant to drive, and they offer a decent amount of technology on them. The competition in this market, it's fierce. And well, this car goes against some legends like the Golf or the Focus or the Astra, but it's quite special in its own way. So if you want something that gives you a special feeling and well, if you like this futuristic design, well, I think the Peugeot 308 is the car for you. So if you're in the market looking for one, well, have a test drive with it and you might be impressed. That was it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Press a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Well, I'll see you in the near future in the next episode with much more cooler cars and not just that. In the meantime, stay safe and peace and blessings to all of you. Have a good one.